Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
I have been advised by the mover that Lillian Kogo will take 2 minutes and Kaluma 8 minutes instead of 10. Lillian Kogo.
I thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank all the members who have contributed to this motion. I rise to support. I had not given my voice to it, but Honorable Speaker, as you were speaking earlier, Honorable Speaker, I believe the Honorable Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya was following the proceedings of this House. And one of the matters, Honorable Speaker, that came out so clearly, Honorable Speaker, was the insult on women, Honorable Speaker. Women form a substantive position in this country's national development, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I expected that when the Deputy President came to this House, he was going to address this matter on a special way, Honorable Speaker. But I did not listen. I did not hear him. I did not hear the Deputy Speaker say when, where, how. The Deputy President, sorry. I did not hear the Deputy President, one Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, answer to the question of saying that one noble member of this House, the Honorable Jematia, is a Malaya, Honorable Speaker. It concerns me, and I wanted the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua to tell this House where, how, when, who witnessed him sleep with one Jematia and how he felt. We wanted to know, because we are not going to allow women to be used with derogatory language moving forward, Honorable Speaker. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are mothers. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are our sisters. It is not.
Time up. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Honorable members.
I thank you. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I thank you in a very special way. Honorable Speaker, I have this benefit of speaking after listening both to the mover of the motion and to the Deputy President, who is the subject matter of this motion. And so, Honorable Speaker, I can look at it from all perspectives. Honorable Speaker, allow me to start by saying that I listened to the Deputy President, as I did to Honorable Mutuse, with the mind of a lawyer, looking at how the grounds have been addressed, their particulars, and how they have been addressed by the two respective parties. And Honorable Speaker, let me begin by saying that I don't know what happened, but we had Honorable Mutuse presented before this assembly a motion seeking to impeach the Deputy President on up to 11 grounds. And Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether it is by act of omission or commission, or it is just the nature of some people. The Deputy President focused on those matters concerning property, money, integrity, procurement, forgetting the most fundamental issues. And I want to say that even when he addressed those money issues, there are very patent gaps going to constitutional violations which are stated in the motion to be gross. I expected the Deputy President, for instance, to use the opportunity you accorded him, Honorable Speaker, to explain that SMS which came from his son Ikunu Gachagua on the bid bond issue involving that company. No mention of that at all. Honorable Speaker, before I go to the matters I want to address in substance, let me thank you, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, for ensuring that the process this House is going through has been very fair. And in doing so, Honorable Speaker, for according and upholding and protecting the provisions of Article 47 of the Constitution. I hear people still saying that the courts will intervene. But I'm thanking you for this, Honorable Speaker, because the only time the courts intervene is if we have not secured a party procedural fairness. This motion was advertised across the country for the participation of Kenyans. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to reiterate this short data in 1 minute. 146,429 Kenyans said that the deputy president should be impeached. And that, Honorable Speaker, constitutes 65.11% of the people of Kenyans. 76,026 of Kenyans said the deputy president should not be impeached, coming to 33.8% of those Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, 2,452 Kenyans said Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, and those other things. The others. And Honorable Speaker, in terms of our constituency, which is Homa Bay Town constituency, 1,080 Kenyans whom I represent said the deputy president should be impeached. And Honorable Speaker, that constitutes 89.81% of the population of the people of Homa Bay who are duly notified. 54 Kenyans in Homa Bay Town constituency, constituting 5%, said the deputy president should not be impeached. And then 56, which is another percentage there, said other things, including Kufa driver, Kufa Makanga. Honorable Speaker, let me clarify this other issue also. That the courts have persistently and consistently said that public participation must be meaningful. If public participation should be meaningful, and Honorable Speaker, you made it so open, at the county headquarters involving all constituencies, and then all constituency offices remained open on that day, and you notified it to the public, Honorable Speaker, following that order of court, then really, there is nothing much for us to continue debating here. If public participation is to be meaningful, then the Kenyans have spoken. And as their representatives, we can only give meaning to what they say during public participation by securing what they have said, which is that the deputy president should be impeached. Honorable Speaker, because I'm running fast, let me say that this constitution has been termed a document. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at ground one, people take it lightly. But Honorable Speaker, the idea of the unity of our nation has been the one thing which has been disturbing the people of Kenya in terms of being a nation for very long. Honorable Speaker, allow me to read the preamble of the Constitution. And this is what it says. We, the people of Kenya, proud of our ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and determined to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation. When the Kenyans were making this constitution, they identified the need for unity as one people, as one thing they had to deal with. Honorable Speaker, I request the members to look at Article 4, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution. It says Kenya is a multi-party democratic state founded on the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution. And Honorable Speaker, people have said so many things about this Constitution. But let me say today, before this House, Honorable Speaker, that Article 10 of the Constitution, if this spirit has a soul, if this Constitution has a spirit, then you can only find it in Article 10 of the Constitution. At Article 10, Sub-Article 2, those national values which were identified by the people of Kenya during constitution making as the things which Kenya needs to address are the following, Honorable Speaker. Patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and participation of the people, human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized. Honorable Speaker, at the very heart of a nation is equal ownership and equal sharing in the resources of the nation. It cannot be therefore, Honorable Speaker, that a state officer at the level of the deputy president is singing to other Kenyans how they are shareholders and they don't belong to this country. And Honorable Speaker, it saddens me that having given him the opportunity, the deputy president did not proffer defense. The deputy president did not offer an apology, but the deputy president said other people are also doing it. Honorable Speaker, let me say an impeachment motion proceeds in personam. It proceeds against a specific person. You may say Kufa Dereva, Kufa Makanga.
Give him 1 minute to wind up. Wind up, Kaluma.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, it does not matter. This motion we have is against a person. You cannot have a motion for impeachment against Kaluma and somebody. Those who are saying Kufa driver, Kufa Makamba, bring the driver and we will also consider it on the merit. And on account of that, Honorable Speaker, this person must go. Honorable Speaker, in the few seconds remaining, let me say that when Westgate came under attack, I lost a cousin in the name of Jackton Port. He was the first one to be shot there. When Garissa University came under attack, Honorable Speaker, I lost Solomon Oludo from Marindi, a son of our land I educated at Uyubiero Primary School. Honorable Speaker, we have no problem holding the security apparatus of the nation, to account. But Honorable Speaker, we cannot have a situation where you talk that recklessly in public about our national intelligence service being dysfunctional. For a state which is permanently under terror, target, and attack. And by the way, in the Security Committee, each minute we are fighting terrorists. You cannot speak that way and come back and say it is normal. Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to the president when each time the president leaves the country, you are organizing rallies to incite ethnic animosity against your own government? Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to His Excellency the President when the President is having a press conference in Nairobi and you are having a separate one instead of standing with him to calm the nation from Mombasa to say that the President, in fact, there is a problem and is a dysfunction in government?
Time up, Mutuse. You have 15 minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin my reply to the motion, please allow me to table additional documents, being a newspaper advert that was placed by His Excellency the Deputy President in today's newspapers, and also the video recording of his speech yesterday, because they are material to these proceedings.
Go ahead. Request granted.
Mr. Speaker, I have tabled the two documents, electronic and physical, because during the course of this debate, members in many instances had referred to them, and therefore it is only fair that they are part of the record. Number two, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank...
The documents were available to me earlier, and I ruled that they are admitted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes. I want to be very brief because I know the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya wants to make a decision on the matter of impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, to begin with is to thank colleague members of Parliament from both sides of the House for the robust debate in terms of the motion that we presented before the House this morning. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank Kenyans in their millions from all over the Republic because in the course of this debate, Kenyans have been commending, Kenyans have been exercising their democratic right through public participation, through their right to odd opinions, and we have not witnessed a single incident of violence anywhere in the Republic. There had been petition that if you table an impeachment motion for a person of the magnitude of the deputy president, there may be violence, people will lose lives. But I thank Kenyans because Kenyans have proven once again that we are a peaceful country and we are able to engage in our democratic processes without violence. Mr. Speaker, allow me to re-examine some of the few issues that have come through the response. First is to let Kenyans know that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has filed a response of 501 pages, and the response has come at 4 p.m., and I was only able to be given the response about an hour ago. And therefore, in terms of the doctrine of equality of arms, I feel that I needed adequate time so that I may be able, during my reply, to respond to some of the things that he has raised in his response. However, be that as it may, I want to refer members to page 99 of his response. In the morning, I did tell members that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired properties through corruption and through money laundering. And when he has come before this house, he has told you that the hotel that he acquired in Nyeri was acquired through a loan. However, the only document exhibited as evidence of that loan is a letter of offer from Credit Bank Limited. There is no evidence exhibited by Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, the current deputy president, to the effect that the loan was actually finalized, to the effect that he actually got the loan. Mr. Speaker, the term of the letter of offer, in terms of lien and set-off, and I read, a lien and set-off of a fixed deposits of LN Crystal Kenya Limited for an aggregate amount of 300 million Kenya shillings. Interest accrued shall be credited to your deposit settlement account. Mr. Speaker, in simple terms, what this means is that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua had a fixed amount in cash of 300 million in his account, which was going to be used as a security. I asked Mr. Rigathi Gachagua to tell us where he had gotten this 300 million, if my allegations that he's laundering money are not true. And therefore, by virtue of his response, it confirms my assertions that he has monies, he has wealth, he has cash that is suspect. If you may give me my phone. In terms of whether Kenya is a company or not.
Do you want information from member
Yes.
for West Mugirango?
Yes, you may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the Honorable Mutuse that the director for Credit Bank Kenya Limited is one Grace Nyachai, who hails from Nyeri and is a relative of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and therefore I say no more.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is important for this House to note that in the morning, I did present evidence of suspicious money transactions. I did present evidence that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, either by himself or through relatives or through proxies, has acquired properties that are way beyond his known sources of income, and that evidence remains uncontroverted. Turning, Mr. Speaker, to the issue of whether Kenya is a company owned by shareholders. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua is playing with the intelligence of members of parliament and with the intelligence of Kenyans by attempting to twist facts. First, in terms of the law, companies are registered under the Companies Act. They are not registered under the Political Parties Act. So to come before Kenyans and to say that there were coalition agreements registered and therefore those coalition agreements are companies is to play around with our intelligence, because we know companies are registered under the Companies Act, they are not registered under the Political Parties Act. Further, Mr. Speaker, this Rigathi Gachagua was selectively chosen the sections of the Kenya Kwanza's coalition agreement to rely on, and he has failed to read the document in whole. Under clause 20 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement, that clause provides as follows: that there is need to achieve an inclusive government that reflects the face of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua chose not to tell us that the coalition agreement also talked about the face of Kenya and not a company of some people to the exclusion of others. Clause 6 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement provides for respect for constitutionalism. The articles of the Constitution that is stated. It provides for respect to the rule of law. It provides for respect to the national values and principles of government under Article 10. And it provides for respect to devolution. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua did not tell us that. Clause 22G of the coalition agreement among the Kenya Kwanza political parties provides that there will be adjustments that may be necessary to accommodate the development priorities of other parts of the country to ensure equitable distribution of Kenya's national resources and wealth for the benefit of every citizen and every part of Kenya. This Mr. Rigathi Gachagua could not tell you because it was going to destroy his case. And this ground must be confirmed. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of KEMSA, again, to show a man who is a flip-flop. Yesterday on live television, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua admitted that he personally called Dr. Andrew Mulwa by his own phone yesterday on television. Today, appearing before us, he denies that he did not call him. So, which part of his testimony do we believe? Do we believe the testimony that he gave yesterday on national television, that he did call Dr. Andrew Mulwa, and that he sent his own son to Dr. Andrew Mulwa to collect the bid bond? Or do we believe the testimony that he has brought today, altered testimony that he has brought today? I urge you to find that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua indeed did call to influence investigations. On the issue of cabinet, Mr. Speaker, if you may allow me just 1 minute. On the issue of cabinet resolution, he has admitted and proceeded to justify that despite the existence of a valid cabinet decision in a cabinet meeting that he sat, he chose to defy that cabinet decision. And for that reason, Mr. Gachagua, by his own admission, must be removed from government. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, this is the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. And for the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya to assert its constitutional authority, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. I urge members. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, we have heard from members here, has made inflammatory remarks against the women of the Republic. For the respect of the women of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. We have heard that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua has disinherited the widows of his own brother. And for the widows of Kenya, beginning from Madeira, to be safe, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. And therefore, I urge members to find favor with my motion from clause 1 to clause 11. And as you vote to impeach Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. I thank you, Mr. Speaker,
I beg to move.
and I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. Brighton, take your seats. Today you are very mobile. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, Honorable Jeho, take your seat. Honorable members, we are coming to the end of this motion. And before I put the question, this is one motion where there is no voice vote. We'll go straight into division. There are no ayes have it at the putting of the question. The House Business Committee yesterday deliberated on the manner of voting, and it was unanimously agreed that there will be a roll call vote. There will be a roll call vote. That being the case, we should be done, if we are orderly, we should be done in the next 30 minutes to 40 minutes, maximum 1 hour. When we start voting, order. When we start voting, I'll instruct the clerk and the teller, having conducted yourselves exemplarily well, any member who precedes his or her vote with a preamble or a speech or a statement will be a spoiled vote. Once you are called, order. The vote is simply yes or no. Time for speeches have extinguished in the debate. I now put the question. Of course, there are always three: yes, no, abstention. Order, member for West Mugirango. There's nothing out of order. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Articles 145 and 151B and 2 of the Constitution and Standing Order 64 and 65, this House resolves to remove from office by impeachment His Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, on the following grounds. 1, gross violation of Articles 10(2)A and B and C, 27(4), 73(1)A, 2 and B, 75(1)C, 129(2) of the Constitution, and Article 147(1), read together with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. 2, gross violation of Articles 147(1) and 52(1) of the Constitution by undermining the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government executive mandate. 3, gross violation of Articles 6(2), 10(2)A, 174, 186(1), 189(1), and the 4th schedule to the Constitution by undermining devolution. 4, gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution on the institutional and decisional independence of judges. 5, gross violation of Articles 3(1) and 148(5)A of the Constitution on the fidelity to the oath of office and allegiance. 6, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes under Sections 31A and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. 7, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed gross economic crimes under Sections 45(1), 46, 47A(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. 8, serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes by continuously misleading members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. 9. Gross misconduct that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President, a member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. His Excellency the Deputy President has publicly attacked and undermined the work of the National Intelligence Service and its officers. 10. Gross misconduct by openly or publicly insubordinating the President, who is the head of state and government. And 11. Gross misconduct by persistently bullying state and public officers. I now direct that the division bell be rung for 5 minutes. Then thereafter, we will go into voting process. As we do so, can the whips give us... Yes, Jeanette?
Mr. Speaker, I propose that only the whips should be allowed to go out of the chamber, Mr. Speaker. The rest should remain seated. Yeah. Only the whips should be allowed to go out, Mr. Speaker. The rest of the members can sit and hold their things on the.
Good evening. If you're just tuning in, the National Assembly has been debating the special motion by the Honorable Member Mwengi Mutuse on the proposed removal by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Honorable Member in the special motion did advance 11 accusations against the Deputy President, and among them his gross violation of Articles 10, Subarticle 2A, B, and C, Article 27, Subarticle 4, Article 73, Subarticle 1A, Article 2B, Article 75,